the Miami Valley Communications Council Board meeting for Wednesday, March 27th, 2024 to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Joanne Brown. Here. Lisa DeVaul.
Here.
Shane Sullivan.
Here.
Sarah Thacker.
Here.
John Burchett.
Here.
Rob Stevens.
Here.
Stephen Harding.
Present.
Michael Boyd.
Here.
We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I did it backwards. I don't know if he is. Do we have Brian on? Because he was going to be on Zoom call. You know Brian? Oh, he's there. He's here. That voice from the ceiling. All right, thank you. All right, looks like we have looking for approval of a motion for the approval of the February 21st, 2024 board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Looks like motion carries. All right, today we have a presentation. TCSU Director Bob Green, you have the floor.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for giving us the opportunity. What I want to do today is give you year-end report of what we accomplished last year and talk about our goals for next year. So in the highlights today, we're going to talk about last year's goals, our Special Investigative Response Team, the year in review, our end of the year stats, some of the things that we accomplished, training opportunities for our communities, which are the 8 cities that are involved, the seizures for the year, our Special Response Team, our NICB recoveries, which you'll learn is the National Investigative Crime Bureau, or National Insurance Crime Bureau, and I'll explain that, and then our goals for 2024. Yes?
We have some new folks here. Can you explain to everyone what TCSU is?
Absolutely. The Technical Crime Suppression Unit involves the 8 cities, which all of you are a part of. And basically, we're an investigative unit, and we provide assistance to those 8 cities. That's our main focus. Assistance that you'll see throughout the PowerPoint will be criminal investigations. Sometimes we'll get called out, and we will assist them, or we'll, because of the length of the crime, we might even take it over. You'll see in the PowerPoint how we had officer-involved shooting investigations. We handle that. So, per se, if an officer from the city of Kettering is involved in an officer-involved shooting, I'm going to pull investigators as well as the staff at our office. I'm going to pull investigators, evidence technicians, and call them out. Everyone except anyone from Kettering. We will not involve Kettering. We'll do our own press releases, we'll do our own investigation, and we'll present it to the prosecutor. We handle all that outside of the city of Kettering. Okay, they are not involved in because it's a criminal investigation if there's an officer-involved shooting. We then present it to the prosecutors and they determine whether charges will be filed. We also get called out on serious traffic accidents that you'll see. We have a trailer with all our evidence equipment. We have specialized equipment such as the Faro, which is a 360-degree camera system that can reenact the entire crime scene. So if there's a homicide in the city and they need that equipment, we're going to come out with the technicians that can run that equipment and provide that for them. So what we do is we supplement manpower. If a crisis occurs in one of the cities, We pull our investigators that are assigned and then other investigators from the other cities to assist that city. And it's worked out as just a tremendous program of assistance and teamwork for all 8 communities. We also provide training within the city, and all 8 cities receive that training for free. And we're getting a reputation of our training being very good, and we're charging outside communities to bring in some revenue. We charge them to be at our training. So you'll see throughout the presentation some of the things that we have done in the last year, okay? Our goals for 23 wanted unified operations and tactics for each city. And what our goal is with that was we want similar paperwork, similar tactics when addressing a situation, whether it's evidence collection, whether it's tactical situations. So we're all on board on the same page. So instead of 8 separate police departments, we have one group of trained people that can all work together. All right. This is going to continue to be a work in progress, but this unification has really started to develop and increase. One of the goals that the chiefs, because I answer to all 8 chiefs, one of the goals that they wanted to promote is within our training some leadership and some more investigator training, because some of the smaller communities might not get serious crime, but we can call those individuals out if they're part of the special investigative response team, and if they have interest in it, though they might not have ever done it, we're going to assign them with an experienced officer, and they're going to learn from that officer, and we're going to bring them along. But we also want training for them outside of real life, so we're going to have more classes. We wanted more classes on that. We want to make our website more friendly to all participants. And what you have to understand, TCSU is really, though it's a secret, it's not real known out to the public. Within the law enforcement community, we have really developed our name. And the amount of people that are getting our intel information, attending our monthly meetings, we have intel meetings, is just growing and growing from outside agencies. You're also going to see that the TCSU agents have developed relationships with other task force, whether it's ACE Task Force in Greene County or Warren County Drug Task Force down in Warren County. Because one of the things that we see in crime is we have no borders, okay? They can live in Warren County but commit crimes in our communities, and we'll come after you. And that's the message we want to send to these people. We're not stuck to our borders. We're coming after you. So when it comes to the website, we're continuing to work with Tom Spar from MVCC to make it easier for people to use the website and put in intelligence. If they have a crime that needs to be solved, a wanted person or a person of interest in a crime, they can submit it to the TCSU Intel, and it goes out to all the people that are part of that are involved with the TCSU Intel, which is it goes all the way down to Westerville or Westchester down in Cincinnati. We have people down there. So we're continuing to work on that. And also, when it comes to training, a big thing the state is working on is the CPT training, the professional training. Updating their professional training. We are using our computer. We want to use our computer system with our new trainer that I'll explain here in a little bit, and have CPT courses that the 8 communities can just log into and say, hey, I want to send people to that training. And it counts towards their CPT hours through the state. Continuing professional training, that's what I was looking for. We also have a cold case. I can't go into depth about this cold case. We started it probably in late 2022. It's a 20-year-old homicide. I can't go into the city that it involves, because you're going to find out that our goal for 2024 is we're going for an indictment. We have met with a prosecutor. The guys and gals have done a terrific job with this investigation, and we have a prosecutor on board, and the question is, do we have enough to go to grand jury? So hopefully you'll see in 2024 our goal is to get an indictment, and maybe by the end of the year get a conviction, and I'll be back next year to give you great news.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
In situations like that, is that something that the jurisdiction that cold case happened in comes to you and asks you to pick up, or do you guys independently kind of look for that stuff?
In this case, the detective that was assigned to our unit, he had that cold case, and we said, okay, we'll work it with you. But any city could do that, and we'd be more than willing to work on that.
Do you get a lot of cold cases?
Not as of yet. It's something we just started with. It's a huge undertaking because by the time you get a cold case, especially from years ago, it's not computerized. It's all paper. And one of the things that we had to do with this case is take all the paperwork, lay it out, and organize it, put it into sections of importance and what it means, which took the guys about 2 weeks. And then we sent it over to get it digitized with the BCI, which is the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations. And then we worked with them on evidence that we wanted them to reprocess. But we would be more than willing to look at any cold case. Okay? And then our 2023 goals, the last one was a part-time training coordinator. And you will see in 2024, he starts April 1st. So that's a positive thing, and I'll talk about him in a little bit. The Special Investigative Response Team is, we refer to as CERT. We have investigators, we have certified evidence crews, we have certified crash reconstructionists, crisis intervention stress management people, and they come out. These are trained police officers with a psychologist. They come out and they will assist on a debriefing of a tragic situation for the officers. Okay, so whenever you have a tragedy like a SIDS death or something involving it with a child, or some serious officer-involved shooting, the Crisis Intervention Stress Management Team can come and debrief the officers that were involved. Anything that is said to those during those conversations is protected because they are certified to talk and act as a counselor, so they can debrief. And what we found out is officers are more willing to talk to cop as opposed to cop to counselor. Okay, and we have been very successful with that, as you'll see. And this year we started translators. We have on board 3 different individuals. 2 speak fluent Spanish and 1 speaks Mandarin. And we've used them all, and it's been very beneficial. In fact, you'll see in the PowerPoint, we've had outside people call us and say, hey, what translators can you get us? And they've used our people as well.
Can I ask a question about
Yes.
translators?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any possibility of expanding that? I know that in the area we have a lot of refugees from countries in Africa, things like that. Do you see any possibility of expanding translation services? Or were those like your 2 biggest?
No, I think that any time we can pull someone who is fluent in another language. What we did in starting this program is we reached out to all 8 police departments in Saul to see who could translate a foreign language. If they are civilians, one of the things that we have to do is get them court certified. Okay? If they're an officer, then the court's going to recognize the fact that they speak the fluent language. Okay? But when we're dealing with civilians, the thing about translation is we would call on companies, and it's very expensive to use these companies. So we're saving money here. But we would love to broaden that and open it. And if you have suggestions, I'd be glad to hear. And if we can get them court certified, it would be great.
Okay.
Especially if a civilian's willing to volunteer. We love volunteers. Yes, sir.
Question reconstructionist.
Yes.
Is that an unusual crash situation? Normally, I think of the local department as handling their own internal traffic investigations. Why would that be part of TCSU?
Okay, so what we use them for is if it's a fatal accident or a near fatal accident, or as you'll see an example, the tragic hit and run on 75 in the city of Moraine. They called out the reconstructionist. Now, Moraine handled that whole investigation, but we were able to reconstruct that for them for when they go to trial. There are simple crashes, and the departments handle that. But when we get into serious injury and someone potentially being charged with a serious crime due to that injury, then they're going to call us out. Okay, because we don't reconstruct everything as methodically as we do serious accidents. Okay, you have your assured clear distance accident where a car hits the back. Well, the officer has the training to reconstruct that. But when we're talking there's a serious injury and there's potential felony charges, then we want measurements and we want detail. So in 2022, you can see some of the call-outs our investigative team, and we broke them down. And then in 2023, you see an increase. We're getting our name out there, and we're getting more activity. And on the last one, we used our translators 4 different times already. And the translator whole issue came up with we had an individual in the city of Springboro there was an arson, kidnapping, felonious assault case, and the victim only spoke Mandarin. Well, fortunately, at the city of Moraine, they had a new officer who they had just brought over from another department. She spoke Mandarin. She was able to come over and do all the translation for them. So it was very helpful. It was helpful to the victim and helpful for the officers. So that's when that started, and then we started reaching out to, that's when we reached out to all the other departments to see who else could speak another language. Our accident investigations increased. Crisis intervention, the same as before in 2022. Our evidence calls and our investigators increased. One of our goals is always to be in each city. We want to help each city. And since 18, we have been able to do that since I came on. So for a year in review, I'm going to talk about a few of the cases in the 8 different cities that we played a part in. In the city of Centerville, I'm just going to highlight 2 of these cases. They had a homicide where a person tried to break into a person's house and was shot by the resident. The person trying to break in was killed. We assisted them with that investigation. We assisted them with the evidence, neighbor contacts, everything that they asked for with evidence, with the Pharaoh, and Centerville brought that down, and the gentleman that lived at the house was cleared of any wrongdoing. A week later, they had an unfortunate traffic accident which involved a little boy and a big truck. It was hauling, I think, bricks. We came out and assisted them with that investigation. In Germantown, we've had a couple different calls where we are assisters, but the big one was there is a free lunch program at Valley View Schools, and the coordinator was accused of stealing from the lunch program and committing some type of fraud. And we used our source at the USDA to help us through that, because the USDA handles all of your EBT cards, welfare fraud, and things like that. So they helped us, and he was able to help out Germantown. In the city of Kettering, the big things that we helped them on, they had a homicide on California, and you probably saw this on the news where the guy went to the Montgomery County Jail and turned himself in and said, "I just killed so-and-so." We helped them with that. They handled the investigation. But then, unfortunately, they had 2 different officer-involved shootings, one on Hadley and one on Tangents. We responded to those calls, conducted our investigation. The officers were cleared of that shooting, and the suspects have been charged with a variety of charges that occurred during those incidents. You'll see on Kettering too, we do a lot with their vice drug unit. Well, their vice drug unit consists of 3 detectives and a sergeant. And we do a lot with them because we're fortunate enough to work in the same office with them. We're 2 separate units. They have their cases, we have ours, but we can pull from them. We help them, they help us, and it's been very beneficial to all 8 cities. As far as Miamisburg, some of the big cases that we help them with is you'll see a theft by deception involving canine training. And today you'll see on the news where a person was arrested for a 251 count indictment. We went and arrested him this morning and his girlfriend and ex-girlfriend. This is a case that Miamisburg has been working for months. We've assisted them with 3 different search warrants on this individual, and we have rescued probably close to 10 dogs that he had in cages when we showed up at his house 3 different times. More to follow on that case next year. And then Miamisburg had the roadway in, which they shut down. And Miamisburg Police Department, specifically Jeff Muncie, worked very hard with the city officials there at Miamisburg. This hotel was a very bothersome hotel for the city, for the corporations around. He got enough information to get a court order to condemn the hotel. So we brought in all the cities, all the officers, and they assisted us with getting people out and getting them rides, because you need a lot of manpower when you do something that big. That hotel is still closed to this day. City of Moraine, some of the big cases is one, you'll see the vape stores. We served warrants. We worked with Warren County Drug Task Force, ACE Drug Task Force, and our investigative unit. And we served warrants in Moraine, you'll see in Oakwood, and in the city of, well, it was Centerville, I believe. And these vape shops were selling Delta 9 vapes. Well, Delta 8, that's the level of THC in the vapes. Delta 8 is legal, Delta 9 is illegal. And along with Warren County doing multiple search warrants, ACE Task Force doing multiple search warrants, we did our locations. We are still working this. This is a company that opens shops in cities. Kettering they've just opened a shop in Kettering. There has been illegal activity. I don't know if there still is legal activity going on, but we are actually working with the Attorney General's office and trying to get charges with them, because we're involving 3 different counties. You also see the fatal pedestrian accident, I-75, that we assisted, and then the D-Max shooting. It came out as an active shooter. It was a triangle love affair type thing where one employee shot another employee over a female. He shot this gentleman multiple times. He died at the scene. The suspect then ran out and shot himself. He did not die as a result of that. He is currently in jail. We helped them with that investigation. It was a huge undertaking. And some of the simple things that we can do is, while we're assisting with the investigation, is we had a huge industrial corporation here, with all these people working midnights or 3 to 11, and we had to get them each to their workstation, get them their stuff, and get them out, but still secure our crime scene. We were able to help the city of Moraine with that. Moraine was also a vape shop, and then Oakwood was a vape shop. That was the other one, not Centerville. Oakwood was a vape shop. We also conducted a search warrant on the vape shops, but we were actually in the township for that, and the sheriff's office helped us out. In Springboro, one of the big cases was the ag burglary, felonious assault arson, and many other charges. That suspect's in custody. Spring Barrel handled the investigation. We assisted them with translation and anything else they called upon us. And we have assisted them with different search warrants, motorcycle crash, and we've been and also child porn cases. And I know you're going to ask me the acronym, and I just forgot it, but there's these requirements with ICAC, and it has to do with the National Center of Missing Exploited Children. They have a division that solely searches on the internet for people who are downloading child porn. Once they find where the IP address is, they contact that local agency and they say, okay, in the city of Kettering, you have this gentleman that's doing this person that's doing this, and they've downloaded child porn. They're able to find them. Well, as part of law, the Kettering Police Department has to draw up a search warrant, go to the house, confiscate the computer, download the computer, and we help the different agencies with that. We're seeing more and more of these throughout all 8 communities. West Carrollton, we had a fatal traffic accident that we assisted on, and as well as they were having a big problem at the Yellow Rose Bar. We were able to get officers together. We saturated that bar on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, made multiple arrests, and served multiple summonses because it was getting out of hand. Some of the other agencies outside of the community that have learned of our reputation, we have helped Beaver Creek PD on a shooting that the suspect lived in Kettering. We assisted Miami Township with a thermal, and a thermal is fire departments have thermals, and it's a big instrument that you can shoot into the wall, and it'll tell you if there's heat behind the wall, and that's how they detect flames. Well, when you have marijuana grows in the basement, you put out a lot of electricity. You put out a lot of heat. Well, we'll take our thermal, get a search warrant to get on your property, and hit your area with a thermal. We get the information. I don't want to go into detail, but we get enough information to be able to do that, and then we can determine whether you have a grow or not. We had a case where a couple years ago where there was an officer-involved shooting. Well, there was a cold case down in Cobb County, Georgia. They contacted us and they said, hey, we understand that you investigated this officer-involved shooting. The person that died there, we think, is related to a Jane Doe that we have. We were able to take a sample of their DNA and send it down to Cobb County, and they are searching that to see if they can ID their Jane Doe from a old cold case. We've assisted the DEA with translators, and we've worked with ACE, as it says, as well as the Warren County Drug Task Force.
Can I ask kind of a ridiculous question?
No question's ridiculous.
Oh, no, this one is.
Okay.
The one about search warrants involving massage parlors and provided a translator. Was that in Beaver Creek? It's the next to the last one.
Yeah,
Was it Beaver Creek? Do you know?
It might have been in Beaver Creek, yes. It might have. That sounds familiar. The Beaver Creek, that was city. I wasn't at that warrant. I've never been to a massage parlor.
That's a question for after the meeting, I think.
Y'all can just wonder.
So, some of our statistics, some of the things, we had an unfortunate issue with our server, and Sheila and Greg helped us out, got us a new server. But in the meantime, we lost a lot of our information from 23. So when you see convictions and search warrants, you're not going to know the answer to that, nor do we. But we are safe now, thanks to Sheila and Greg and MVCC. That will not happen again. However, when it comes to criminal investigations, you'll see our numbers are up. Our phone, cellular phone examinations are up. We have people from West Carrollton, Kettering, Oakwood, and Centerville that are all phone examiners, and they can download phones and find information. So we are able to use that throughout the 8 cities. We also conduct polygraph examinations for all 8 cities. They are pre-employment polygraphs or criminal polygraphs. We discovered that we were doing polygraphs for other cities outside of the TCSU communities, so we decided we were going to charge. And we have been charging, and we are low on our charge as it costs for a private polygraphist, but we have gotten some funds from that, and it's helped us out a lot, because you've got to remember, all your polygraphists, the polygraph takes a minimum of 2.5 hours of time, just the polygraph alone, not preparation. They also are investigators or patrol officers, so they have full-time, they have their other assignments that they also have to do. So it was kind of put in a hardship, so we decided to charge, and we're still getting polygraphs that are coming in. In fact, I think it only went down by 6 from last year, from 2022, I'm sorry. And then as you see the text email alerts, this is what I'm referring to as intel going out. There were 553 different times that we sent out intelligence, wanted subjects that people want to try to identify, and we sent out 553 different intelligence things through intelligence alerts through TCSU.
Would that be to other departments?
Yes, and that's the great thing. Our name's getting so well known that people want to be a part. They want our intelligence, and they want to have access to it so they can send it out, because we've just grown in our popularity. But yeah, that's from outside agencies as well.
Who would that go to? Is there a contact point in each agency that
No,
this documentation would go to?
It's as simple as, if they join the TCSU alert system, it comes to that detective, and then that detective, if that individual detective has intelligence that they want out, or help me ID someone, they can submit that. They can just put it in through the MVCC website, the TCSU MVCC website, and it goes out to everyone.
When you say everyone knows it, everyone in the department
Everyone who's involved with it,
signed up for it?
who signed up for it. So if you're Beaver Creek, if you're Bellbrook and you're a part of it, or Sugar Creek Township, any of those agencies, the Sheriff's Office, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, we have participants from there, and the Dayton Police Department as well. So what it's doing is just opening up all the communication with all the agencies.
Do you have situations where different agencies just want to use your equipment?
Different within the 8 cities?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And your people don't go with them, they just can take your equipment and use it?
Okay, yes. So sometimes, like if, let's say Moraine, they are doing they want a GPS unit for a person they're following. They get a search warrant for that. We provide them with that GPS unit.
Okay.
If they want a pole cam or some type of trail cam that we can set up. Centerville had a problem with some people stealing golf or getting on a golf cart and ruining Yankee Trace. We put up a pole cam for Centerville, and we put it up, and then they did the investigation. That equipment is for all agencies to use. So in 2022, our training opportunities, you'll see, is very similar. We just had a couple extras, but this is something we're going to increase upon with our part-time trainer. In 2023, you see 3 different I&I, that's interview and interrogation classes. We have a firearms a gentleman that's on the special response team who is incredible with his firearms training. He holds about 4 different classes. We'll train additional people on the Faro so that if they have crash reconstruction, so they can be called out. We find that sometimes on weekends, people, if they're on their days off or something, they're not in a mindset to come out, so we have to call a lot of people because it's their days off, and we understand that. So we're increasing our numbers there, the amount of people that we can call upon to get to them, because everyone has their own personal life, and we don't want to be calling the same people again and again. We know they have their full-time jobs as well. We'll do another crash. We did another crash investigation, level 1. That helps out all the officers. And then the SORAD is the single officer response to threat. It's how an officer responds to an active shooter, active threat, single officer response active threat. And it's how an officer responds to a school shooting, an active shooter at a business, because we want to get in there. And we send anyone from the 8 communities. Kettering usually holds these classes, but it's open to all 8 cities. So in that way we get our tactics all on board of the same. These are seizures. I will say that the end result of $17,000, we're disappointed. We did a lot better last year. We are on pace to do a lot better this year so far. Some of the seizures that we've gotten and we expect to obtain. But we did our ultimate, the end result of last year was $17,685.43. So sometimes that's because we have seized a vehicle and we've sold it on Gov deals, and or it's a cash disbursement of money that we've seized at a drug house or something. Our special response team is part of TCSU as well, and their activations this year, they had 6 search warrants where they helped our cities out. They had 4 barricaded subjects, a suicidal subject with a gun in the backyard, and then they had 1 active shooter, and that's where they went to the city of Dayton. And I don't know if you remember, but a subject had run into a school, and the city of Dayton called multiple people. It was recently in the news because I don't know if he was convicted or it was a competency hearing, but they called upon multiple other SWAT teams. So the special response team responded from us. They train 2 times a month, 2 days a month. It's usually 2 days straight. And then October they do a week-long training locally. They find different ranges and different settings, whether it's in a house that's being torn down or something. They try to find something. Some of their training topics, they train with proficiency on the weapon systems, operations for search warrants and hostage rescue, the sniper operations. They have to be certified yearly with their gas, their diversionary device, and their less than lethal weapons. And then they have to be certified as in their tactical emergency medical support as well as vehicle assaults. So that's their training topics throughout the year. Any questions on that? Now, the National Insurance Crime Bureau, we have an agreement with them where they provide us with 2 cars. They just give us the cars. And these are vehicles that insurance companies have gotten from a claim that is still running in fairly good shape. So we actually have 2 vehicles that they gave to us, and in return they send us alerts on possible stolen cars, because in the middle of the night while you're sleeping they have people driving around with license plate readers, and if they find a stolen car, it takes a picture of it. Well, we end up getting that picture and we'll go track down that car. Now, we also, on their behalf, participated with the Dayton-Montgomery County car theft, because that's been a huge thing the past couple years, and we had officers participate in that as well. In all, we had 32 different deployments. We had 29 arrests, recovered 19 stolen vehicles, stolen property. We have 10 different items of stolen property that we recovered, and we seized 9 weapons.
So a lot of the communities, Kettering included, I know Dayton has them, I think others have the flock cameras,
Yes.
license plate readers. My understanding is that those are more sort of reactive, where they can go in, our officers can go in and look for plates and see if it's come through the city. But this is different, where are they proactively looking for stolen cars?
This is even more reactive than Flock. You can get your cell phone set up to where Flock can alert you immediately. And a stolen car just drove by, and it'll send you a text, and it'll send you the vehicle, the plate, and everything. Just went through Flock, and it hits. So this system, where NICB, where the LPRs go around, that's reactive, because they'll do it in the middle of the night, and then we'll get an email, hey, this car's was stolen from Kettering, but it's in Oakwood, and then we'll go and pick it up. So this is more reactive.
We know how those Oakwood people are.
So our goals for 2024, we're going to turn over the training to the new part-time coordinator. He's a retired federal agent who has worked with us for some time as a federal agent. He's he's known to the chiefs and the officers that are involved. He has done a lot of training at FLETC, which is a federal law enforcement training center, and he's just outstanding officer. He's retiring on the 31st, and he's coming to us on the 1st of April. So he will be up and running as soon as we can get all our documentation done that we need to do. We're real excited to bring him along, and he's got a lot of great ideas that he wants to put into place. MVC gave us one of their little vans that they have out here that they use to go different places. We had the decals stripped off of it and detailed, and we are converting that into a small mobile evidence response van instead of having to haul the trailer everywhere. If we have a smaller crime, we don't haul the trailer, but this will be easier and we'll have more equipment with it. So we're reconfiguring that, and we want to get that all up to speed. Want to obtain an indictment on the cold case. I was updated as yesterday. All our evidence submissions are back. All our reports are back. So now it's going to be some time, but we're going to be dealing with the prosecutors and seeing what she thinks of the case and whether we can go forward. And ultimately, it's going to be her decision because she's going to have to prosecute it. But I will tell you that the staff has just done a tremendous job on this case and have really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I'm very proud of them. And then one of my goals for this year is to purchase headsets for our special response team. And the headsets will be enclosed. It's better for them. They're not cheap, so we're going to have to try to get together some of our forfeiture money. But it's safer. It's better equipment for the officers going into these situations, and even training for them when they train live fire, because the fire, I'm getting ready to turn 6 years old and I'm already wearing hearing aids because I was on the SWAT team. So we want to get them headsets if we can. Any questions?
Where does the money go for the forfeitures? Does that stay in?
No.
TCSU?
The forfeitures come in, and then it ends up getting split with the cities and TCSU, because we need money to purchase, whether it's a GPS units or extra cell phone, undercover cell phone, things like that, optics and things. So they give us some of that money. But we split it up with the cities. The cities get a return on it as well.
I assume that includes weapons, so weapons are sold as well, or not?
Weapons that we confiscate,
Yeah.
generally, that's a question that we decide if it's something. We have some weapons that we have accumulated that we go to GovTech about that. My first thought of these type of weapons that we have, will probably destroy them and not make any money off of them. And the reason being is that they are handguns. And I was, in fact, when I meet with the chiefs next next week, I think. I will tell them that we have a number of handguns. Now, in this stack, I'm going to ask for permission to give the revolver type weapons to the city of Springboro for their training, because they use revolvers for the simunition. But those will stay at a police department. But handguns we're probably going to end up destroying.
What's the reason for that?
The handguns?
Yeah.
I think it comes down to politics at times. It comes down on people's beliefs. Some of the guns, if we have high dollar weapons, the chiefs and GovTech will vote on it, and if they see that, okay, you're going to take these weapons and make a good purchase out of it, and these weapons are high-end weapons that a certified gun shop is going to sell for a higher price or whatever, they might give me permission for that. But when we're talking these handguns, they have no real use, and we'll probably just end up destroying them. But if we had something high-end, I would ask for permission, they vote on it, and tell me yay or nay. But generally, I have to have something specific to buy.
And is it the chiefs altogether that make that decision?
Actually, GovTech would make that decision, the city managers.
But at the end of the day, you're trying to purchase things. $50 is $50, $100 is $100. You got 20 guns that you take. That adds up over time. You could pay for your headsets without going and digging in other funds and not destroying. You're also putting back in the community. So I see that kind of being a catch-22 essentially.
It is a catch-22 because handguns are not as expensive when they sell on the retail when we turn them back, okay? But the biggest concern is one of these guns being that we confiscated from the bad guy, then being resold and used in a crime. Ultimately, it came from us. And
that's any firearm though, at the same time.
Any firearm, you're right.
Selling them to irresponsible people? Like, wouldn't they vet who they're going to sell the handgun to?
They have to vet, but yeah, I mean, and we use a reputable, but it's a concern for people, and I understand that concern. They have, the GovTech has been very good about it. I will talk to them about it, but handguns, are sometimes, I'm not optimistic, and I'll go with what they say.
I didn't see it as money's money at the end of the day. I mean, in the state of Ohio, you can transfer a firearm without even doing a background on the secondary level. So, I mean, criminals are going to get their hands on it one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
If we can make money off of it, why don't we make money off of it? I mean, I know not everything's money, but when you're trying to purchase things.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive to me that you would want to resell the high-end weapons that are more destructive.
Well, some of the high-end weapons, they're only more destructive. First of all, they cost more, and they're also, the high-end weapons are really pointed towards the consumer that wants to use it for hunting or actual target shooting. Handguns are a different thing. And some, people don't want, some people just collect guns. I own one.
Yeah.
And it's a a political thing, So
you think it's the political desire of the city managers? And that's what it really kind of comes down to?
I think it's how they believe internally when they make a decision, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like, as an elected official, that kind of conversation has never come back to us. So it sounds like it really is just their personal desire and not who they represent.
Sarah, let me tell you this. I've been around 6 years, never heard that discussion yet.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
No, well, I'm just saying, the city managers have never had that discussion.
So then who's making the decision to destroy the handgun?
I don't think this comes up very often.
It doesn't. This will be...
So don't be misled that this is a monthly or a yearly thing, because it's not.
How often?
I've been here 6 years, hasn't come up during my time here.
What happens to the firearms that we benign then?
Some of those weapons,
I get they're gonna be with evidence and stuff
evidence,
like that.
and others had to be returned too.
Because of stolen wise.
Because they, yeah, if they were
Gotcha.
stolen,
Okay.
or if we took them in a search warrant and the court said we had to return them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Have you run into any of the Glocks that they're talking about now that can be retrofitted? to
We have
spray
not,
bullets?
but we have, Ace Task Force did a huge search warrant on the Glocks and found a young man and that he was retrofitting to fully automatic. It was a great case that they worked. We also, we have an in with the ATF. We have an agent with that we at our disposal if we need, as well as FBI and DEA. Because some of our cases go federal, so in order to go federal, they have to adopt it. We can't go federal. We can present it. We can present it to a federal agent, and we have agents at our disposal that we go and say, "Hey, we got a good case, firearms case. Go to the ATF." They'll say, "Okay, I'll adopt that case," and then it goes federal.
Maybe one final thing. You well exceeded the 5 minutes that I asked you to keep
Don't
your
worry, I'm probably in
presentation
trouble
to.
with my
He
wife.
said 2 hours when he started, so.
Can you just briefly explain to the group, because I've kind of stressed this to them, the benefits to the cities of being able to do certification training in-house?
Yeah, the CPT training, continuing professional education training that the state has mandated, it's cumbersome, but it's needed, and the governor has said that this is what we're going to do. And the benefit of bringing this in-house is really, it's twofold. You can easily do the CPT training by sending out PowerPoints. Like, we have so many PowerPoints we have to watch a year. But this hands-on training that we want to provide and this face-to-face training is just going to be so much more beneficial to the officers. And it's going to be beneficial to the departments. We are going to be able to get these people certified with these hours, hopefully faster, cheaper. If someone wanted to go out, we're going to, as opposed to sending someone off to a out-of-state training, we can do it here. These 8 communities that we have some tremendous people that have tremendous knowledge and training and ability to train, and we're focusing in on that, and we're bringing them together without trying to go outside. But this is going to help with those hours for each city, and it's going to just make it so much better, make it so much more educational. Because you can watch a PowerPoint, because I've been watching them. They're not fun.
And it saves the cities money rather than having to send people to Columbus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep,
Overnight
we're,
and all that.
yep.
Oh, something I just thought of, is the armored vehicle been beneficial to TCSU like you planned on it?
Absolutely. It has helped us in those search warrants where the armored vehicle pulls up. It has been very helpful. The best thing for the SWAT technicians, the special response team officers, is having that cover, and outside of and just the knowing that we have it to rescue someone, it's benefited. We haven't used it for that, but it's been used in the communities. It has it's intimidating, which I'm sorry, but that's what some people need. But it has been very beneficial.
Good.
And you can't put a price on officer safety, you really can't. And that's where it's been great, and that's why we want to get the headsets for them too, because we're sending them on the worst of the worst.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all your time, and I just can't speak enough for the people that I get to work with in the 8 communities, the chiefs, and their command staff and their officers. It's so great to see different members from different cities, whether they're investigators and evidence technicians, all come together and just work like they've worked together for so long, and just they don't have to worry about some of the in-house stuff that goes on because they're working with new people, but they know these people. And it's been my privilege to have this job because we have some great people in these communities, let me tell you.
Well, thank you, Bob. Thank you for everybody on the task force and, keeping our member cities safe. So
Thank you.
It's amazing when you see the stats that you don't realize always what's going on in your community, and people don't realize it, which is kind of good sometimes. But
And I got a new knee during that year, too.
Yeah. But thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Since Bob took all the time, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, Jay.
Thank you. I think
Yeah.
I can do that. Interestingly, Shane and I were just having a brief conversation before the meeting, and he said, I was really kind of unaware of this TCSU and what they do. And I said, well, there's a lot of good work that takes place behind the scenes, and it's nice that Bob was able to share with you all the accomplishments of the task force. Bob does a wonderful job, his staff does a wonderful job, and the officers that rotate through TCSU all do wonderful work as well. So we're very fortunate. We're fortunate to have an agency like TCSU that helps supplement our departments. So just again thanking Bob for all of his good work. Just a few things for me. All of the cities, I think, have whatever they want to call it, a strategic plan, a master plan, or whatever. And from time to time, these are updated. Some communities do it every 5 years. Some communities do it every 10 years or so. But anyway, MVCC has a strategic plan, and to the best of my knowledge, it dates back to 2006, and I don't believe it has been updated since then. But over the last 17 or 18 years, two things have kind of changed that necessitate that we really look at updating our strategic plan. Number one, franchise fee revenue is continually decreasing. Unfortunately, that's not going to change. We're not going to be able to turn that around. So over the years, it was ample. We took in enough revenue to run this operation. That's no longer the case. So we have to look at other revenue sources. That's something that we've been trying to do. We obviously now have some infrastructure assets that are associated with the fiber ring that we can look at monetizing. That's something that we will continue to do, but it seems to be the right time to take a look at our strategic plan and decide what the future holds for this organization. As you all know, you can spend big money putting together a strategic plan or a comprehensive plan, and we obviously don't have the financial wherewithal to do that. Fortunately, we have expertise in the area, and Wayne Davis, the city manager of Centerville, who has a lot of experience in this area, has agreed to assist us in this endeavor. I think it's something that we're going to shoot for in the fall. I don't know how long it's going to take. Wayne and I really haven't talked too much about it at this point, but we'll put together some information for everyone and kind of decide how we're going to tackle this issue. But there'll certainly be opportunities for everyone to have input into it. So again, as I mentioned to you, I just kind of wanted to get this on your radar, knowing that this is something that's very important, and we're going to start work on it this year. I also wanted to mention that we have about a 30-year relationship with the Centerville Washington History Group. It used to be the Washington Township History Association, but they changed their name a few years ago. But anyway, our staff and volunteers have been working with their staff and volunteers for 30 years, kind of chronicling the history of this area. Recently, that organization was kind enough to donate to us a almost brand new camera and a tripod that we are certainly going to be able to use to help them and also do other work that will benefit all of our communities. So I wanted just to give a shout out to Centerville Washington History, thank them for that, and acknowledge the 30-year history that we've had working together. So that was very kind of them to donate that equipment to us, and we will certainly be able to use it. I've been mentioning to you on any number of occasions, so this will be the last time, but we've got this newly elected officials orientation program coming up on April 10th at Yankee Trace in Centerville. It's a day-long program. It's local government 101. All the topics deal with local government and what councils deal with all the time. The other thing I would add is that, you know, this is all good information, and to the extent that you have other council members who may be interested, or you have new people on your city staffs, you know, in your administrative staff, they would benefit from it as well. So we still have some slots, we still have some openings, so if there is anyone in your community or organization that is interested in attending, we would love to have them. We would love to have any of you folks here if you can fit it into your schedule. You don't need to come all day, but we have an all-star group of speakers, and it's going to be a very worthwhile time spent for those people who do have the good fortune to attend. So again, I just wanted to touch on that. And then finally, our production staff has developed a relationship with the public access people down in the city of Cincinnati. And for the first time ever, we're going to be broadcasting the Findlay Market Parade that takes place every opening day. So if you flick to any of our 4 access channels tomorrow at noon, we will be broadcasting live the Findlay Market Opening Day Parade. So I thought that was kind of nice. They worked with us on our Santa Call-In show, and now they're allowing us to take the feed from the Findlay Market Parade, so that's nice. And it's a good opportunity, I think, for people in the Dayton area to get that, because I'm not sure that any of the local stations pick that up. So anyone who has some time tomorrow and they enjoy watching the Findlay Market Parade, it'll be on Access TV.
Are you going to take a mic and be down there live for us?
I'm not.
Oh.
No. I mean, we're just
You'll
gonna
be down with the mic.
take
Yeah.
their feed. Yeah.
Do we have
Yeah.
a float?
We
We
do
have
not
a
have a
float.
float either, Brooks. Maybe that's something we can work on next year.
It might be nice to put that in that one Greg Fay Centerville community. I know everybody has that, but he has a lot of followers on that. There's a very sports-minded group. I think they would be interested if you could post it on that.
We really try to get the word out on this. I'm sure a lot of people aren't aware of it, but in terms, you know, on the access channels we've been running, and we've sent out press releases and things like that. So I hope some people take advantage of it. It's kind of nice. And I hope that we're able to do some other things down the road with the folks down in Cincinnati. That's a good relationship now that we have with them. That's all I have, sir, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Jay? All right, and our chairman's comment. The only thing I have is that we won't have a meeting next month, so you can say yay. And then our next meeting then will be May 15th. So mark that on your calendar as our next meeting, May 15th. And then I'd like to turn it over to any board comments and community updates. What's going on in your neighborhoods? Anybody got anything new going on? I know in Springboro we've got our North Park, that new playground's going to be opening up hopefully soon. I mean, all the residents call every day, but you know, it depends on the weather, obviously. They're putting down the last of the playground, but it's a huge endeavor that they did up there. And then the courts will be going in soon after, so everybody will be excited.
How many pickleball courts are you putting in?
I think there's 4, I want to say. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I thought there was 4 for some reason. Yeah. Because we got the tennis court now, and they've obviously revamped it. I think Clear Creek had put in like 4 already, at their Patricia Allen, and then we're putting in. So, anything else going on? Everybody just sleeping, or?
Our, as many of you know, probably our riverfront park has been completely revamped and redesigned, and it is almost finished. And our ribbon cutting for that is going to be on May 6th. And then we'll have Spring Fling, not Spring Fling anymore, Spring Fest is what it's called now. Spring Fest will be, I think it's the weekend of the 18th. Yep, the weekend of the 18th. So that'll be our first real event in the park. But it's beautiful. It's really come together nicely. They have swings that kind of like line where the bike path was that overlook the, well, the bike path is still there, kind of moved it a little bit, but they overlook the river, and so you can swing and look at the river. It's just really quaint little, really neat. They have a like an adult and a child kind of like interactive, and it is geared toward all abilities playground. They have some ping pong tables. They have just like a lot of interesting things you don't normally find in a community park that they've added into that riverfront park. So we're hoping that it is, I mean, I'm sure it'll be full all summer long, but we're going to have a lot of events there. But the first one will be on the 18th, and that is the Spring Fest. Parade is on Saturday morning, but the carnival will be open Friday to Sunday, and then the big festival is Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a couple things going on in Centerville. One in particular, I mentioned that the normal Memorial Day recognition or ceremony was not going to be at Stubbs this year. We're renovating Stubbs for the full year, so Memorial Day ceremony, the concerts are not going to be at Stubbs this year. The concerts and the Fall Fest and the Party in the Parks, they will be over at St. Leonard. St. Leonard has that big, the northwest corner of their property there in Franklin and Centerville Station Road, or Clio. They'll be there. We'll have a number of concerts at Party in the Park and Fall Fest there. We'll also have Memorial Day, and also for Veterans Day, that will be over at Cornerstone Park this year off of Wilmington. That's the Cornerstone of Centerville. And that will be, if you know where Cooper's Hawk is, and that area, the new Outback located over there, that's where we'll have the Memorial Day and also the Veterans Day. Plus, during the summer, we will have every other Friday in Cornerstone, there will be some entertainment. And also, the other opposite weeks, down in the center of town, right in front of Graders and City Barbecue, we'll have entertainment also on every Friday, or every other Friday, and they'll alternate between Cornerstone and Cornerstone, between Raiders and City Barbecue up and uptown. So we're real pleased about what's going on there. We've got a lot going on at Veterans Grove too. If you get a chance to drive by, you'll see a lot of activity there. The event center's going up. Hoping to have that in place by middle of next year, March or April of 2025.
Summer, maybe.
Summer of 2025. So a lot going on. We're very pleased and excited about what's taking place there.
Awesome. Anybody else? Nothing else? All right.
Can I?
Go ahead.
We
Go.
have a lot of the typical stuff that we do in Kettering at the Phrase and things like that, but Tree Fest on April 20th. I'm a lover of trees. So if you want to come plant some trees, we do that at Southdale Park. But then afterwards, we have an event called Tree Love, and that's at Eudora. It's a lot of things I love.
There aren't any trees there.
But it's no trees there. You're just talking about trees and drinking some beers. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So it's it's not a typical event that we've always done, but we did it last year and it was good. So
Cool. Thank you. Anything else? Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.